Guys, welcome back to another edition on the Wrath Box as we continue to stack those Roman numerals up. This is another win with the waifu Kassai. Now, I know I said I was going to play Brute, uh, but I went ahead and I splurged on the waifu. I went ahead and bought her some spicy stuff. And so I kind of, we're going to get to the Brute. We'll get to him, but I had to play with the spice. I splurged on her. I said, you know what? We got to bring her out one more time. So without further ado, we get into the equipment list, the deck list, and we did go 201, winning us the awesome cold foil Benji. So we'll go over that those matchups in a bit. And without further ado, we get into it. So this was a 201 win. And what I mean by splurged on the waifu, we gave her some spice. So we have our cold foil Kassai. We have our cold foil Hope's Merchant's Hood, our beautiful cold foil Courage of Bladehold, the cold foil Refraction Bolters, and the Brave Forge Bracers. Not cold foil. I ain't balling like that yet. And then we also have the two cold foil Centauri Sabers. So, like I said, I went ahead and I splurged a little bit on the waifu. Got to make her look pretty, right? So I said, man, I got to play her one more time. So we did win. We did go 201. A little cheeky on the win because the round one was a bye. Yes, I know. But you take them as you go, right? I mean, we won a cold foil Benji, so we had to take it. So round one was a bye. Oh, and I almost forgot to also, we have three no room pieces. Like I run three. You can run the full set because you still have two more slots missing, so you can actually run the no rune hood as well as the tunic. I don't own a tunic. I'm over here complaining that I don't have any command and conquers, and I'm over here buying cold foils. But nonetheless, you can run the hood and the tunic as your 10th and 11th piece. I run these three because I like to run my Hopeless Merchant hood in case the wizard matchup we get into that red hand and I can just kind of shuffle it away. So that's the reason why I run those three pieces. And without further ado, we get into the deck list. So yeah, round one was a bye. We did get a round one bye, which played some role into our win as well. I won't knock that off. And so round two, we get into a Kavdeen, a very interesting Kavdeen deck. So in this Kavdeen deck, he actually has this combo where he sets up that he goes, because he's playing the Regurgitating Slog with the Slogism on top of Strength Potion. So he's swinging, he's usually trying to set up this crazy 18 Dominate play. And fortunately for me, I was able to shut that down with a really big hand that eliminated that combo that he had in his hand. I was actually able to get four because I played a cash in off the arsenal on a full 4-card hand, which gave me 4 hit and runs, 2 blues, a yellow, a red hit and run, and I had an Enlightened Strike with an Iron Song response. So I had this huge 6-card hand off the cash in off the arsenal, and it just gave me this huge turn where it was like blue hit and run, pitch blue hit and run, swing Centauri Saber for 2, and then use bracers, play yellow hit and run, swing Centauri for 5 with a go again, play red hit and run, Enlightened Strike for 10, and knocking down the Iron Song response down. So it was just a huge turn that I did. And that was the turn that he had his combo in hand, and I was able to shut that down, steal the whole momentum of the game, and just win it the next turn after. Because at that point, he already had like maybe 2 HP left, 1 or 2 HP down. And at that point, I just stacked over tag reactions following turn, and he had to take that win. So it was a really big play off that cash in, which he actually set up off the Kavdeen's ability, where if I think if you pitch 3, if your opponent has less life than if your opponent has more life than you gain a life, but they gain a copper token. So it inadvertently gave me the 4 tokens that I needed to use the cash in for that big play. So it kind of backfired on him. So that was my round 2 into that crazy matchup, because I thought, if he would have set that combo up and he had both potions and a Goliath Gauntlet available, it would have been like a huge just dominate play, and I probably would have lost at that point. But I was able to shut that down and take that win to going 2-0 off the bye. So, and in the finals round, we actually played against a Benji. Ironically, right? So we played two blue overpower, two red overpower, two red sharpened steel, two red warriors valor, two blue warriors valor. Actually, the deck list has changed a little bit because I don't have the full yellow line. We'll get into that in a second when the cards come out. So yeah, we played against a Benji in the finals round, and actually the little changes that I made in the deck played a huge part in that Benji game. And so we'll get more down into the deck list so that I can explain what happened. So we played two Glints, two Blue Dauntless, and this is where the deck list changes just a tad. So we play our two Blue Steel Blade Shunts, and here's where the deck list got changed a bit. Because now we're playing one red and one yellow Steel Blade Shunts, whereas before it was a yellow Warrior's Valor, and I believe this was a red Dauntless before I changed the list up. So these two cards played a huge role, especially in that Benji game where right when time was called, I had the red Steel Blade Shunt in my arsenal. Opponent only had one card in his hand, and it was a fine center. And Benji's ability basically says you cannot block attack action cards that are two or less with cards in hand. So if Benji swings an attack action card that has two or less, it's basically you can only block from armor or from the arsenal. And I already had used my armor at this point, so that red Steel Blade Shunt came in handy in that last game because then time was called, so I only had one turn. Unfortunately, I ran into like a bunch of hit and runs. I ran into it was like my two blue hit and runs off that hand with like I think it was a blue. It was like a heavy blue hand. It was like my two blue hit and runs. I have one blue stroke of foresight that I ran into, and I believe was able to stack one red over out for blood that I run in the list, but unfortunately it just still wasn't enough to close out the win, taking my opponent down. He did block out the entire hand. Had I had one more turn, because he was forced to use that entire hand because he only had about 2 HP. So I forced him to block that entire hand, and then he would have just drawn up. And I looked at my hand, and I had like another crazy enlightened strike into enlightened strike with another. I think it was a yellow hit and run into another red Iron Song response. So I was gonna close that game out next turn. Unfortunately, due to time, I wasn't able to, so it ended up finishing 2-0-1 with a tie. And due to strength of schedule and my opponent, my second round opponent, the Cavdine, won his round, so he finished 2-1. My opponent's wins weren't that strong, so and the bye also gave me some more points, so that's what put me over the top on the 2-0-1. But nonetheless, let's not forget the list. We're playing two red Iron Song response, two push the points, two Ravenous Ravels, and two red Enlightened Strikes. Now these are our go wide attacks. These are what make the decks. This is what basically you can sidestep and go wide. Now I don't have any Command and Conquerors. I'm trying to get some because I would love to put the Command and Conquerors. I'd probably switch out the Ravenous Ravels for those Command and Conquerors just so I can sidestep and then get that Command and Conquer on the board. So we play two Cash-ins, two red Sigils, and these are our one-ofs. We play one yellow Warrior's Valor, one Spoils of War, one Out for Blood, and one blue Stroke of Foresight. I don't have the second copy of Spoils of War. The way the market is right now, it's just so crazy price. I only have one copy at the moment. I would probably switch it. If I did get it, I would probably take out the Out for Blood. I tried to tend to switch. If I'm going to take a red, it's to place another red. The deck is very counted for certain counts, especially in that wizard matchup. So that's why I kind of have these counts. It's already red heavy with the go wide stuff. So you don't want to go too red heavy because then that wizard would just shred you. So this is the deck list. 2-0-1 was a close game against that Benji. Man, if I'd have had one more turn, I would have been able to close it out. It is what it is. I was still able to win it, 2-0-1, netting me that awesome cold foil Benji. and this is the deck list that we used. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys like it. Now I know I said I was gonna play Brute, but now I'm working on a cold on playing. I really want to play the cold foil Benji, so I'm working on a Benji deck now. So it's kind of in the works, kind of a toss up if I want to play the Brute or the Benji. But I did say I wanted to play Brute in the last Blitz video, so I may just play the Brute. I do have some boots coming in, so I may want to wait for those boots, or I just might play the Snapdragons with Tomofine though. But we'll see what happens. I am working on a Benji deck, so we may see a Benji deck as well come up in a few. But nonetheless, guys, this is another solid win, 2-0-1 with that finals game in my hand. I was in the seat to win it. Like I said, I just didn't have enough time, unfortunately. Time was called, and you know, it is what it is, but it is a 2-0-1 cheeky win. We get a round 1 bye. Round 2 was a crazy hand play. You know what? Let's go over that crazy hand play. Just let's just how it win. It was 2 blue hit and runs, a yellow, a red hit and run, and then Enlightened Strike. The cash in off the Arsenal with the Iron Song response that I threw into the deck. So it was a crazy hand. Like, I was like, you know what? I had some HP. I had like about 12 HP. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this hit. I think my opponent was able to get me down to like 4 HP when I got this hand. So it was a cash in on the Arsenal, and I drew the red, and I drew this off the deck. So I had this hand. I go ahead and I pop the cash in off the Arsenal because of the opponent's Cavdine ability giving me that 1 copper token. So then it was like blue hit and run, Centauri pitching 3, and then so I swung for 2 there. I played another hit and run yellow, and then on this one it was bracered, and then it was another. So then it was bracer. So we're hitting now 2 on Centauri, 3 with bracer. So 5 on another Centauri swing into another hit and run into Enlightened Strike for 10, throwing the Iron Song response back in the deck. So all in all, we swung 2 bracers. So that's 5. So we swung a 17 damage swing, which was a crazy hand. And my opponent just had no choice but to block. And fortunately for me, it was the hand that he was going to set up that crazy regurgitating slog dominate. But I was able to shut it down and steal the game. After that turn, my opponent was just in that position where he has to wait for me to break. And next hand, I didn't break it. I had a pretty good, strong attack reaction stack and to win the game for round 2. So that was the tournament, 2-0-1. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do use the list, let me know. Let me know how you did, if you guys win or lose. And then also, if you guys want to see Benji or Reinhardt, let me know. I'm working on my Benji deck. The Reinhardt's kind of already pretty much built, but I am working on the Benji. So let me know what you guys want to see. And then till next time, thank you.